wanted to see who would stand up to him and stop this disastrous project. Bok Dong, the lone voice of reason, was about to have his life changed forever. The chairman promoted him to executive vice president, launching him to the peak of his career. Everyone else in the room, now realizing they'd just blindly followed a crazy idea, could only watch in stunned silence. The chairman, clearly impressed with Bok Dong's courage, one of the recent rumors about the chairman's heir. Any car would see the latest groundbreaking invention. Car wax. But not just any car wax. This stuff makes your car grow hair. Yep, you heard that right. Hair. This brilliant or bonkers idea reminds everyone of the recent rumors about the chairman's alleged memory loss. People exchange uneasy glances and whisper, but no one dares to challenge the boss. The CFO, ever the sycophant, claps enthusiastically, praising the chairman's unwavering vision, even though he secretly disagreed with the CFO's. Round-nosing was legendary. Faced with this awkward situation, everyone else joined in the forced applause, except for one guy. Bok Dong, director at the company, couldn't take it anymore. He spoke up, calling the product ridiculous. Even though it was the chairman's idea, Bok Dong bluntly stated that launching this hairy car wax would bankrupt the company. Seeing the chairman's face darken, Bok Dong braced himself. He expected fury, the consequence of his bold challenge. But instead, the chairman faced him. Turns out, it was all a test. The chairman, aware of the rumors about his supposed memory loss, wanted to see who would stand up to him and stop this disastrous project. Bok Dong, the lone voice of reason, was about to have his life changed forever. The chairman promoted him to executive vice president, launching him to the peak of his career. Everyone else in the room, now realizing they'd just blindly followed a crazy idea, could only watch in stunned silence. The chairman.
No, yeah.
Huh?
Clearly impressed with Bok Dong's courage, beamed.
Oh, but
Bok Dong, completely caught off guard, grinned like happiness radiating from him. But just as he was basking in this unexpected triumph, another piece of news arrived, sending him plummeting from the heights of joy straight into the depths of despair. Suddenly, the secretary burst in with an urgent report. Their rival company just launched, Harry Car Wax, and it's flying off the shelves. It's front-page news, with 16 international companies clamoring for distribution deals. The rival's market value has already eclipsed Steam's. Harry Car Wax is a global phenomenon. The room temperature plummets below freezing. Even Bok Dong's triumphant smile freezes on his face. Moments later, the chairman summons him. His expression grim. Bok Dong is told he's no longer needed at headquarters. He's being transferred to Qianrima Mart, from corporate hero to retail exile in the blink of an eye. Crushed, Bok Dong fiercely accepts his fate. Meanwhile, in a modest apartment, a man sleeps soundly on the floor, walls plastered with awards. This is Seo Gu, 29, a brilliant Seoul University graduate. Top of his class his entire life, he dedicated himself to study. But despite his academic achievements, he's been unemployed for 2 years. Today, however, is Seo Gu's lucky day. He's landed a manager position at Qianrima Mart, a subsidiary of the region's biggest corporation. He feels like he's hit the jackpot. The next morning, brimming with confidence, he arrives at the store. What he finds is unsettling. Employees are asleep on the job or glued to their phones. Shopping carts are mysteriously missing. Rotten vegetables stink up the produce section. Shelves are a chaotic mess. Flies swarm the meat counter. This isn't a supermarket, it's a disaster zone. Seo Gu, simply to swat a fly, slips on rotten banana peel and lands flat on it. Just then, Bok Dong, the newly appointed store manager, approaches, informing him they have a meeting in 10 minutes. Seo Gu stares after him, dumbfounded. He's working under the Bok Dong, the legendary Dima executive. Convinced he's about to witness a corporate miracle, help rebuild Qianrima Mart, become a legend himself. Heart pounding. Seo Gu enters Bok Dong's office, eager to introduce himself. Bok Dong, however, is in no mood for pleasantries. After reviewing the dismal financials, he declares they need a complete overhaul before they can think about reopening. So, on day 2, they hold a hiring fair. 2 interesting candidates show up, both desperate for work and lacking any real qualifications. They launch into a competition for who's had it worst. Curly hair goes first, slamming himself into the dark. Flash is kind men, fearfully playing into physical trash. They devolve into a sobbing argument over who qualifies as a superior form of record. In sob fest, the door explodes into him. A local gangster storms in, demanding compensation. Bought canned goods from the store and broke out in a rash. He's convinced it's their fault and wants his money back. Seo Gu, bewildered, tries to explain that the rash isn't their fault. He offers a refund just to get rid of him. But the gangster, sensing he's grabs a chair and prepares for a brawl. Bok Dong, calmly observing the chaos, cracks a knowing smile. He announces he's hiring all three of them. Seo Gu is flabbergasted. What is happening? Is this real life? As if things weren't weird enough, members of the Messiah tribe also happen to be here too. Arrives with a young girl, demands jobs for her, or they'll start. Bok Dong, ever accommodating, hires the entire tribe. Seo Gu, thoroughly confused, surprises Bok Dong. Hiring unqualified people like this is unfair. Bok Dong, sensing Seo Gu's unease, reminds him that he's not just any employee. He's the manager. He challenges Seo Gu to step up and rewrite the store's reopening plan. Inspired by Bok Dong's words, Seo Gu feels a surge of purpose. He is the manager. He can do this. Meanwhile, the Vibaya chief returns to his people, sharing the good news in their native tongue. After decades of wandering in Korea, they finally have a place to belong. They erupt in a joyous tribal dance, a strangely heartwarming sight. The next morning, Seo Gu, energized and ready to take charge, heads to work. Just then, a luxury car pulls up beside him. The CFO flags Seo Gu down and invites him for a ride. The car takes him to its secluded spot. The CFO reveals he knows Seo Gu craves a position in corporate HQ. He offers a deal to complete a simple task. Seo Gu will become a creative recruiter. The task? Find Bok Dong. Document his every move, right down to his bathroom break. Everything must be reported back to the CFO. Seo Gu is taken aback. This is weird. But a promotion is a promotion, right? He agrees. The CFO's motive? He and Bok Dong are the chairman's top contenders. With Bok Dong exiled to the supermarket, the CFO sees his path to vice president clear. He knows the ambitious Bok Dong won't stay put, so he needs someone to keep tabs on him. Seo Gu, the eager manager, seems like the perfect pawn, but the CFO has underestimated sweet, innocent Seo Gu. Just as the CFO thinks he's won, Seo Gu asks a killer question. Should he tell Bok Dong about this arrangement? The CFO stares at his supposed asset, a look of dawning horror on his face. Did he choose the wrong guy? Back at the supermarket, Seo Gu finds yet another scene that makes him question reality. The Vibaya tribe members are lined up at the entrance, each holding a strange contraption. The female customer explains. Insert a coin, and they become human shopping carts, following shoppers around the store. Seo Gu, the smart, capable manager, feels a pang of inadequacy. His brain simply can't compete with this level of innovation. Then, to his astonishment, the Vibaya tribe breaks into a spontaneous, mesmerizing dance right there in the supermarket aisles. The infectious music and rhythmic movements are irresistible. Seo Gu finds himself swaying along. He's not sure what's real anymore. Just when he thinks the gangster hasn't shown up for work, Glasses informs him that the gangster is working in customer service, in logistics. A furious customer storms in with a defective product. Seo Gu follows, expecting to witness a customer service meltdown. Instead, he opens the door to a bizarre tableau. The customer, who moments before was yelling, is now completely cowed by the gangster's intimidating presence. The customer service center has been transformed into a regal throne room. The gangster presiding from a central, elevated position, dressed in elaborate robes. It looks more like a court of law than customer service. The gangster, who yesterday was all threats and bluster, now commands respect with a few quiet words.
See. Oh.
面白い
Oh.
Sending the disgruntled customer scurrying away, thoroughly intimidated. Seo Gu is utterly baffled. What is even happening? Glasses explains that it's all the manager's doing. Bok Dong believes in a unique approach to customer service. Their philosophy is the customer is always right, but rather, the employee is always right. Hence the royal attire. On opening day, Seo Gu is caught in a whirlwind of bizarre activity. He diligently compiles his report and sends it off to the CFO. The CFO, eager for dirt on Bok Dong, rips open the report, only to find it completely incomprehensible. References to King Bok Dong and a supermarket kingdom leave him utterly confused. Intrigued, he decides to investigate in person. Upon arriving at the store, he's immediately confronted by the human shopping cart brigade. He pushes his way through, taking it as a surreal scene, and realizes he's been played. He grabs Seo Gu by the collar, ready to unleash his fury. Suddenly, a familiar voice calls his name. The CFO turns to see a giant sunflower. Looking closer, he recognizes Bok Dong. His mind reels. What is going on? He demands an explanation. Bok Dong, with no attempt at subtlety, reveals his plan to destroy the demon root. His first step? A union election. Only the best employee will be chosen as a representative. Bogdan then proceeds to spend the company's funds on 18 harass gold staff, topped with a giant red seal. He stays up all night sewing a giant banner on pure wool. And as if that wasn't enough, he commissions a solid gold championship belt from Union representatives. He's effectively draining the company's coffers while inciting fierce competition among the employees, all part of his plan to bring down the supermarket. Unsurprisingly, the employees go wild. The gangster and the Bibaya chief, both eager for power, decide to settle things the old-fashioned way, with their fists. Thus begins the Cheon-Rima Mart Union president competition. First up is the gangster, a former neighborhood tough with surprising strength. He's the undisputed pretty boy of the supermarket arena. Next up, a group of men in black solemnly carry a coffin onto the makeshift arena. The Bibaya chief, aka the Bibaya giant, emerges, clad in ceremonial garb, looking like he's ready to send the gangster to an early grave. Seok Gu, watching from the sidelines, is speechless. How did a normal supermarket turn into a fighting ring? Meanwhile, Bak Dong wears a sinister grin. His plan is working. After some pre-fight trash talk, the match begins. The gangster strikes first with his signature carrot pole attack. He thinks he's won, but the chief barely flinches. The Bibaya chief retaliates with a swift, open-handed strike, sending the gangster sprawling. The two grapple, their moves as unpredictable as they are entertaining. Finally, the gangster unleashes his ultimate move. White Phoenix takes flight. Just as he's about to strike, another Bibaya strikes. Hidden in the shadow, trips him. The chief seizes the opportunity, delivering a devastating nutcracker punch, knocking the gangster out cold. The crowd gasps. Bak Dong declares the Bibaya chief the winner and the new unit president. The gangster, however, is not pleased. He demands a rematch, vowing revenge. To everyone's surprise, the chief apologizes. He admits the victory wasn't entirely fair, but he needed to win to support his family. He offers the gangster a small gift of compensation, a tiny Bibaya horn. The gangster stares at the horn, then at his injuries, wondering if the chief's apology was entirely sincere. As union president, the Bibaya chief throws himself into his work. He expertly fillets the fish with lightning fast knife skills, transforming it into a beautiful plate of sushi. Housewives go wild, scrambling to buy his creations. Meanwhile, the other Bibaya tribesmen are busy selling mountain ginseng, claiming it gives men the chief's strength and vitality. Customers can't get enough. The supermarket, under the Bibaya tribe's influence, is thriving. Sales are booming. Seok Gu attributes it all to Bak Dong's brilliant marketing strategy. He's in awe of Bak Dong's business acumen. Bak Dong, however, is frustrated. He's not ruining the supermarket. He's making it more successful. Seeing the supermarket bustling with customers, Bak Dong decides to change tactics. If customers can't get in, the supermarket will surely fail. He devises two new entrance strategies and presents them to Seok Gu. Option 1, the revolving door of doom. As soon as the customer enters, the door locks. They have to spin a certain number of times to generate enough power to unlock it. Seok Gu has an immediate headache. Customers are here to shop, not exercise. Who's going to put up with this? Option 2 is even more terrifying. The vertical sensor door. It slams shut when it senses a customer approaching. Walk too slowly. You risk losing your head. Seok Gu is baffled. Why mess with a winning formula? The supermarket is finally doing well. But Bak Dong won't be swayed. He flips a coin to decide. Meanwhile, at HQ, the CFO is shocked by the supermarket's sudden resurgence. He decides to send in a top-tier spy. He chooses Mi Ran, the star of the assistant department, fluent in 8 languages. Mi Ran, dreaming of a glamorous assignment in Paris, London, or Tokyo, is crushed when she's told she's going to the local supermarket. Dejected, she arrives at Cheon-Rima Mart just as the new revolving door is installed. She becomes the unwitting test subject. The door locks behind her, refusing to budge. After a moment of panic, she realizes it's a power-generating contraption. She pushes with all her might, spinning until the door finally unlocks. She stumbles out, exhausted, only to be caught by Seok Gu. Later, Iran reports to Bak Dong, who has heard of her stellar reputation at HQ. He praises her performance, catching her off guard. Just as she's basking in the unexpected compliment, he asks point-blank if she's the CFO's spy. Caught red-handed, Iran confesses, blurting out her entire mission. Bak Dong, surprisingly, isn't angry. He simply advises her to focus on her work. Leaving his office, Iran has a newfound respect for Bak Dong. Maybe he's not so bad after all. Unfazed by the supermarket's newfound success, Bak Dong decides to tackle another area, unused corners. He converts them into free arcades. It's a childhood dream come true. He was too poor to play arcade games as a kid. Seok-gu is perplexed. This seems like a waste of resources, but Bok-dong is unstoppable. While overseeing the arcade setup, Seok-gu is drawn to a dance machine. He can't resist. He launches into an impromptu, highly skilled dance performance, showcasing his impressive moves to the bewildered staff. He even takes off his shirt and shoes, completely losing himself in the rhythm. Meanwhile, Miran discovers an abandoned office. Despite her high heels and skirt, she diligently cleans the entire space, transforming it into a spotless haven. Staff, witnessing Miran's dedication, realize she's not there to spy on them. They embrace each other, thrilled to finally have a proper office. The next day, a young girl appears in the supermarket. The gangster, initially aggressive, approaches her, only to burst into tears. Seok-gu arrives to find the gangster sobbing uncontrollably in front of the child. He's completely confused. Bok-dong enters to find the entire staff in tears, with the little girl standing calmly amidst the chaos. He asks Seok-gu what's going on, but Seok-gu can only sob in response. The girl asks Bok-dong if he's the owner. He confirms, and she asks if her dad can have a job. She shows him a photo of her deceased father. Bok-dong is taken aback. He takes the girl to his office and hears her heartbreaking story. Her father dedicated his life to passing the bar exam, but never succeeded. He was eventually disqualified and forced to apply for regular jobs, facing constant rejection. Her mother, unable to cope with their poverty, left them. Her father continued his desperate job search until he was tragically killed in a car accident just a week ago. At the funeral, the girl overheard neighbors gossiping about her father's unemployment, labeling him a failure. She didn't want him to be remembered that way. She wanted him to have a job, even in death, so she brought his resume to Bok-dong. Bok-dong, always looking for ways to spend the company's money, agreed to hire the deceased father. Learning the girl was now an orphan, he hired her too. The staff, witnessing this act of kindness, were deeply moved. Only Seok-gu remained confused. Inspired by the girl's situation, Bok-dong launched another project, Library, with the girl as the librarian. He allowed her to study while working, even assigning Seok-gu to tutor her for an hour each day. He insisted on paying her a full adult salary, plus her father's salary, effectively using company funds for charity. Seok-gu was stunned. First, child labor, now employing the deceased? Bok-dong's business practices were questionable, but his compassion was undeniable. Despite his reservations, Seok-gu found himself tutoring the girl, patiently helping her with her homework. Mothers shopping in the supermarket were touched by this heartwarming scene. The girl, seizing the opportunity, began recommending related books, boosting sales. Seok-gu realized that even this seemingly absurd act was generating revenue. Bok-dong, despite his unorthodox methods, was a business genius. To try and regain some semblance of normalcy, Seok-gu decided on a new initiative. Everyone gets a Western name. It would add a touch of class, making the supermarket feel more international. The next day, he proudly introduced himself as Peter. He then went around checking on everyone else's names, only to discover they'd completely missed the point. Glasses and curly hair chose ridiculously local nicknames. Even Myran, a sophisticated HQ employee, picked a traditional Korean name. Seok-gu despaired. The Babaya tribe, though not Korean, chose names of Korean pop stars, effectively becoming a K-pop cover group. He even encountered a mini IU. Seok-gu was reaching his limit, but these were relatively normal compared to what he saw next. A flash of gold caught his eye. It was a man in Middle Eastern attire. Intrigued, Seok-gu approached. The man turned, and Seok-gu gasped. It was Bok-dong. Apparently, Bok-dong thought the Western names idea was good, but regular English names were too boring. They were going international. They were going all the way. Dressed as a Middle Eastern monarch, Bok-dong began his daily inspection. He encountered a wealthy Middle Eastern investor shopping for milk. The two locked eyes, a spark igniting between them. The music swelled, and they broke into a spontaneous, synchronized dance, captivating everyone around them. Their intense gazes and surprisingly coordinated moves created an unforgettable spectacle. A romance was born. The investor felt divinely guided to meet Bok-dong in this unlikely setting. He'd been in town discussing a potential investment in the region's largest supermarket. This encounter felt like fate. After their impromptu dance-off, the investor, swept away by the moment, invested a whopping $10 billion in Bogdong's supermarket. Bogdong was dumbfounded. He was trying to ruin the supermarket, not turn it into a gold mine. The news of the massive investment made headlines. The Dayton vice president and CFO, seething with jealousy, paid a visit to the supermarket, intending to confront Bogdong. Bogdong, however, remained utterly unconcerned. His goal was to destroy Dayton. He wasn't afraid of anyone. He greeted them and screwed up on his desk, a picture of nonchalant defiance. He then pulled out a pen and aimed it menacingly at them. Terrified, they fled. In the parking garage, the vice president discovered his car had been redecorated by the Mariah Tribe. He collapsed at their feet. The executives gone, a crisis emerged. A horde of children descended upon the supermarket. Bogdong's free arcade had turned the store to a kid's chaotic playground. A group of students were smoking in the bathroom. Kids were running wild, disrupting everything. Someone stole the Vibaya chief's gold belt. Others were swarming the gangster. Bogdong, finally reaching his breaking point, stormed off to his office, retrieving a secret weapon from his closet. Seok-gu, hearing Bogdong was about to unleash his wrath on the children, tried to intervene. But Bogdong emerged, with a magical flute passed down from his ancestors. Accompanied by the flute's enchanting melody, the children, as if hypnotized, followed Bogdong out of the store and into the neighboring supermarket. He then sprinted back to Tianrima Mart, leaving the bewildered children behind. The staff stared in awe. Bogdong, with a flourish, ripped down the arcade sign. With the flashing lights gone, peace returned to the supermarket. The next day, Bogdong was driving to work when a man suddenly jumped in front of his car. Bogdong slammed on the brakes, narrowly avoiding a collision. Angrily confronted the man, assuming he was causing trouble. The man explained he was a jelly supplier. His business was failing after Mark stopped carrying his product. His factory was on the brink of bankruptcy. He was desperate. Bogdong, after sampling the jelly and finding it delicious, had an epiphany. He had $10 billion burning a hole in his pocket and a supermarket to bankrupt. He offered the man a deal. Tianrima Mart would buy his jelly, but at triple the price. The man was stunned. He'd met generous CEOs, but this was unprecedented. He followed Bogdong back to the supermarket, setting up a jelly stall. Seok-gu watched, bewildered. When he learned about the tripled price, he was speechless. This was financial suicide. They'd lose money on every sale, but Bogdong was determined to make it work. The supplier, emboldened by Bogdong's unwavering faith, was reinvigorated. He proudly displayed his family's generations, old jelly-making certificate. It turned out he was a descendant of a royal chef. Customers, intrigued by the high price and the impressive credentials, flocked to the stall. Elders, after tasting the jelly, were hooked. It was the taste of home, a traditional recipe passed down through generations. The high price didn't deter them. They bought it by the bucket load. The jelly became an overnight sensation. The factory went into overdrive, working 24/7 to meet the demand. The jelly craze even caught the attention of international buyers. Impressed with the jelly's quality, the international buyers placed large orders. The supplier, grateful for Bogdong's generosity, refused to sell his jelly anywhere else, remaining loyal to Tianrima Mart. Bogdong's selfless act of saving a failing business became a media sensation. He was interviewed by newspapers and TV stations, receiving numerous awards. But Bogdong's smile was gone. He was failing at failing. Seeing the supermarket's profits soar, he ordered his staff to give away the store's finest bottled water to anyone buying jelly, hoping to drain the supermarket's funds. Meanwhile, the CFO, watching the news, no longer believed Bogdong was trying to sabotage the supermarket. He suspected Bogdong was aiming for expansion. He couldn't let that happen. At the same time, the vice president was summoned by the chairman and berated for his laziness. The chairman, in a fit of rage, nearly assaulted him. The vice president fled, shoeless, to the parking garage and mournfully pet his defaced car. The CFO contacted Seok-gu. They left the supermarket together. Myran, now fiercely loyal to Bogdong, secretly followed them, suspecting a conspiracy. The CFO offered Seok-gu a transfer to HQ. The condition? Betray Bogdong. A major event was coming that could make or break the supermarket. The CFO wanted Seok-gu to blame everything on Bogdong. Myran, eavesdropping, assumed the worst. She prepared to warn Bogdan.
お世話
But just as she was about to
お
leave,
しゃ
she heard Siaku misunderstand the CFO's offer. He thought the CFO wanted to actively sabotage Bogdan. CFO refused. He longed for a position at HQ, but he could only respect
Yeah.
Bogdan. He didn't
ラッセビーイボスプラッシュデッド
オルキシュアボ
ジュリシシシュア
トゥバフェセブ
ブラストは
シア
Así. Oh, se vieja.
They just fired me! And the police are doing nothing! I lost my
トレリ
my
Lisa.
only way to make money to pay my bills!
なんけっせな
Imagine you're a woman working DoorDash. It's late, tired, and all you want to do is find a delivery and go home. The directions for the final delivery reads leave at door simple. You pull up to the address, quiet house, lights dim, and the door cracks just a little bit. And for some reason, you decide to push the door completely wide open. And what you see inside that house stops you cold. A man screwed out on the couch, pants and underwear down to his ankles. Asleep or unconscious, you can't tell the dysfunction besides from the answer
ライ
on
ス
the screen. Decide to
Cheer.
pull out your phone, record this, and this. For whatever reason, he posts a video of this man on TikTok with his name and address caption on the video. Yes, guys. It's still real video. So at this point, you're probably wondering, why would this do this? He did this because he's claiming that at this time, the internet is full of feminists and pro-women calling it brave. Others are calling it different. DoorDash decides to activate your account. Now you're out of a job, scrambling for gas, and trying to convince the whole world you are a couple of
Days after I reported my assault.
Okay, so this is after she posted the video and DoorDash obviously got away.
They got me just lost my job. And they won't tell me why. I was supposed to send an email immediately after the accident to provide me the reason why and the link appeal. And they didn't. So I contacted the court and they made me tell them tell me that they can't tell me the reason why and I have to go ahead and appeal without why. So my kids getting my account back. They have my money in that account. I